Tiffany Gaines, host of the Seekers podcast. Listen, so I'm in process and I am happy. Thus far, I have transitioned my office here that you see, and I have moved my 9 to 5 out of this. That's my creative space, and I have moved it where you can't see. I'm going to take a photo. I've moved it into, I have a long closet right here off to my left, and I have moved my 9 to 5 in the closet. It's large enough for me to put a desk in it, and I have my other chair in there, and I've got my computer, my work computer, and an additional monitor now. I'm all set up. And the boarder that lives here, the 17-year-old boss, she's the boss of the house. I think it's us that don't know it. She run the house. Came in yesterday and said something that I totally blew off. She said, it's kind of funny too, because the logistics of it all. No, because it's a closet. She says, why don't you get a window in here? And so, of course, I just was like, what? I'm not carving out a window. And she says, well, it's gloomy in here. Now, I've got lights in there. I've got some LED lights that I've put up in the ceiling, and it's fine for me. And it lights up plenty. Um, I'm not in the dark, but it's a closet. And the desk that I have in there is facing the wall. And she says, well, it just seems stuffy. And so I'm talking to her about the practicality of just uh, putting in the window. She says, well, she thinks she's helping out. Well, of course, you shouldn't do it. Not you cut out the window, but get a professional, you know, a contractor to cut out the window. If she used contractor, I'm not even sure. I said, I get that you would want me to get somebody professional to do it, but I don't want a window. And so I thought about it though. She made me think about something that I know about myself. I'm all about learning new things about myself. It just kind of makes me excited because learning new things about myself helps me figure out why I do the things that I do, why I think the way that I think, what things I might be missing out on. And so I thought, well, I'm fine in here without the window, but I know something else about myself. I don't pay attention to detail when it comes to exterior things. I don't pay attention to pictures on walls. Everybody that comes to my house says, oh, beautifully decorated. Oh, it is so wonderful in here. You know what I do? Point to Alicia. I had nothing to do with it. I do notice when things get crowded, right? With regard to things, like if a bunch of stuff starts accumulating in a particular space, my mother always, if it was this much space somewhere, she was going to put something there. I will start to notice if a room becomes crowded with things. But if the room is big enough, I'm trying to get comfortable. Can't get my arm right. If the room is big enough, I don't pay attention to the details. I don't pay attention to pictures on walls. I don't pay attention to plants. As long as there's enough space for me to move my body around and not feel closed in, and I guess that's relative because one would think that a closet is closed in, but I have enough space to walk. The closet might be 6 feet. It's probably more than 6 feet deep, but I don't pay attention to detail. I don't pay attention to windows. When I come downstairs in the morning, I first thing most people do when they come downstairs, they open up the windows, they open up the blinds, the shades. You see back here, this shade has been closed for days and it's been beautiful weather. I come in, I literally don't even notice that shade back there. I don't open up windows. I don't see things. I had a discussion with my wife and one of our other friends some time ago. And I guess the discussion was, do you appreciate these things? It's not that I don't. I give full credit to my wife and her decor. I just don't see details. If we go into a model home, Alicia's going to come out. She's going to tell me, did you see that light fixture? Did you see that ceiling fan? Did you notice that carpet? You know what I'm going to see? What they had in their kitchen. Was there enough room to move around? Was there enough cabinet space? How big was the bedroom? But little details like that, and I call them little, but to a designer or a decorator, those are major details. I don't see them. So when she asked me about putting a window in, the first thing I thought about was, who cares about a window? And I just think that is so interesting about me. But then, across the street of my mind, across the street of my intellect, I am like laser sharp when it comes to intuitive details, laser sharp when it comes to conversational details, laser sharp when it comes to um, personality details. I listen. I hear what people say. I mean, down to the nitty gritty of the detail. What is that? Is there a different word for it? But if it's something I got to physically look at, I don't see it. But if I have to hear it or feel it, I get it all. And I would count myself as a pretty insightful person. But it's because I pick up on details of spirit, I pick up on details of mindset, I pick up on the inner details. I don't see exterior details. Shout out La Border. We do love you. Um, but you're a border. But shout out to the little border. She came in here and made me think about something. She gonna be shocked, y'all, that I even gave her credit for something. I give her credit for a lot, but she don't hear that either. Kids, they don't hear detail. They only see detail. What does that mean? You see detail or you hear detail. Who are the people that do both? My wife, she do both. She do the most of both. She can't watch a movie unless she sees it from the beginning. I don't need that detail. That again, visual detail, I don't need that. She can't watch a movie unless she sees it from the beginning because the details matter to her, but the details also matter in conversation to her. She, can't get the gist of something. I mean, you have to just kind of lay her the details of conversation out for her. And I do this often to her, and I have to apologize now. I do this often. I will shorthand some conversation sometimes because I want to move on. And she's like, no, and she's like looking at me like I'm crazy, like, okay, well, what's this? And I'm like thinking, well, don't you intuitively get this part? Well, why do I have to say that? Don't you, if I say this, you should intuitively get that. But people don't work like that all the time. And I have been checkmate. A light bulb has come off. It's been off. A light bulb has come on. And I have realized that I don't pay attention to exterior details. They don't matter much to me. Now, Lord knows when at the 9 to 5, it should. And so sometimes it takes me a little longer to do things because I'm trying to make sure that I don't miss the detail. And it's fascinating. Sometimes I'll read an email and I'll read it again and I'll catch what it really said because the first thing that I saw isn't what it said. And so I have to be careful sometimes. Sometimes I have to start work a little early because I know, especially if it's trial time, I got to be up early because I need time to absorb the details. If I have to move based on detail, I need time to absorb it so that I can move. But if you're just talking to me conversationally, I get where you're going before you get there, you know? Or I hear things, or I pick up on the nuance of a person's movement, or how to assess a personality or something like that. That stuff, I don't need time to assess and move. And I've learned to count it as a skill set now because it helps me in my relationships with people. It helps me move with people. But I just noticed that. I noticed that. I learned that. I'm excited about it. I don't know if y'all get excited when you learn things about yourself to help you improve on things. I mean, I am always digging in, trying to figure out what I can learn about myself because I'm on some self improvement journey all the time. But details, it matters. And I'm certain I'm going to learn now about outside of my 9 to 5. That's where I pay attention to my lack of detail the most. I pay attention because I overcompensate for it. So because I know I have to take extra time. I deliberately don't move quickly. And especially if somebody needs something, I try not to move quickly because I need time to assess that I've given them the very thing that they've asked for. Other people move quickly. And I've accepted the fact that that's my struggle and I can't be what I'm not. But I'm also, because of that, you know, um, quick intuitive detail, I'm less patient. I am, you know, I'm less patient with other people who need that time for that detail. Like with my wife, sometimes, she don't get it, and I'm just like, why don't you get that? This is this, and I just learned that. I don't see outer detail. I don't pay attention to things on walls. I don't pay attention to ceiling fixtures, lights. I don't see them. But if you're talking to me, I hear, and if you're close to me, and being close to me doesn't necessarily mean that I like you. You could just be close in my space, my mental space. But I see you and I feel you. And I feel what type of energy you give me. I'm my perception is on 10 as to what type of energy and spirit you're giving. So I need to pay attention more. But that was a light. It made me think, why don't you need some kind of light? I just didn't care about that, but I thought it was insightful. She was just coming in because the first thing she does when she wakes up in the morning, the little border, is she raises her window, raises the shade in her room. She leaves it up all day. I could care less. This guy, always down. Every now and then, I'm intentional. I go over there and I intentionally let it up because it's like, well, Tiffany, you got this beautiful shade back here. You got a big old window back there. Let it up. Don't pay attention to it. Don't notice it. What am I missing? What are you missing? Are there things about yourself that you've learned? Are things about yourself that you've learned that you now see may impact some other things? I see my, you know, intuitive attention to detail probably makes me less patient with others who don't see and get the same things. Probably in the same way that people who think that I don't notice the external thing, they get short with me. Why don't you see that? It's almost like an annoyance, or why didn't you get that? You know, or, I've gotten an email back from my boss before, and I can tell in his email, he's like, why didn't you fair, right? Fair, which is why now I take more time before I submit something. And even then, it's not always perfect, but Lord, I get it. I just want to share my light on moment. What is it about you that you've learned? What is it about you that you've learned that maybe now you see impacts how you move in some other ways? I'm learning I need to be more patient with people because my intuition and my attention to detail is on the inside. And I'm sharp, child. I ain't not gonna even pretend I'm not sharp. I moves quickly. I mean, everybody isn't intuitive in the same way, but it's just kind of like it just kind of resonated more. It just that little old child, she done turned on the light and she made me think about something. So anyway, what is it about you that you've noticed that maybe you didn't notice before, or maybe you did, but does it make you realize some things about yourself, how you come across to other people, how you internalize relationships with other people? Is there something about you that you process differently, right, than other people? Does it make you move differently? I was so excited about sharing this. I didn't even turn on my studio lights. Hold on a minute. I want y'all to see. Does it make any difference? This is just some added bonus footage. Don't go nowhere. Hold on. Wait. You see that foot? You see that? You see that lightage? That lightage. That ain't a word. That footage. Look at this. Watch this. Wait. That ain't it. Learn how to turn it on, Tiffany. Oh, that's too much. I got I got lights coming from the north and the south. Maybe we don't need that north light. Let's turn that off. But maybe if I lean in there a little bit, maybe it ain't gonna look too bad. Hmm. I'm working on my production. I'm working on my production. You know, my wife got to give me. Oh, I turned. Look at that. That color a little different. That look a little better, don't it? Hmm. My bride is my She is my social media manager and also my production manager. She tells me what to do. So anyway, Tiffany Gaines, host of the Seekers Podcast, just wanted to share that little bit of insight. I appreciate the little border. Amaya, shout outs to you. Anyway, hope everybody has a grand, tabulous day. I'm out.